Mauricio Mejia Live. Entertainment guru, Silicon Valley entrepreneur, author, and speaker. It's Mauricio Mejia Live. Bringing to you real people, real day-to-day life experiences, and real business opportunities. If you dare to step up. Do you have what it takes to take it to the next level and become who you are truly destined to become? Decide, commit, execute. Join the thousands of viewers around the world and become a part of the conversation. Mauricio Mejia Live.
Check. Oh, yes. How is everyone feeling today? We are here. It is Wednesday, and you know what day it is. It's Mauricio Mejia Live, season number 2, episode number 4. And it just feels like it's always like my first show. I get the butterflies in my stomach. I get a little nervous. I'm going to bring up the next guest. I want to make sure that I perform to my fullest potential. I want to make sure that I make the guests look good. There's a lot of work that takes place and a lot of pre-production, making sure that we cover our bases. So anyhow, I want to welcome everyone again. This is episode number 4, season number 2 of Mauricio Mejia Live. And it goes down like this every Wednesday at 6 p.m. on the West Coast, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, live on Facebook and YouTube. Yes, it's live, and it's live and live. It can't get any more liver than this. And I want to thank everyone that's tuning in from around the world. We have visitors that, again, they comment. We got people from the East Coast that are tuning in, and that's why we shifted the show from 7 o'clock, because it's a 3-hour difference, and it was just getting out. It was getting out there late, so we wanted to shift it back. And also people that are visiting and watching from Mexico or Central America or other parts of the country or the world. So we want to thank everyone that's watching. Again, we're broadcasting live from our studio in downtown San Jose, the heart of the Silicon Valley, and we have a great season planned. We're only on episode number 4, and so far, the recap of our season, starting with the first one, we did our intro. Then we had the virtual red ribbon breaking or cutting with our mayor of San Jose, Sam Liccardo. And last week we had the honorable council member of City of Los Angeles and former state senator Kevin De Leon. And this evening we have a very special guest. I can actually call him a friend because I've known him for years, and we won't give out any of the secrets because this is a friendly show and we're not here to create any sound bites, but we're looking forward to a very great conversation tonight, and we're going to hit a couple of subjects regarding our community and just the temperature on local politics, on state politics, and just the temperature of just overall where we're at during this pandemic. So again, we got a great season planned out. We're going to talk about some real business opportunities. We're going to be bringing some real estate gurus on the show. We've already covered the politics. After tonight's guest, we're going to take a break because I think people don't want to talk about politics for the next couple of weeks or so. We're going to be talking about stocks. I have a special guest. He's a genius. You're not even going to believe his age when we bring him on. He's a young entrepreneur, up and coming. I have a bet on him that by the time he's 21, he'll be a millionaire. By the time he graduates high school, he's still in high school and he's crushing it in the stocks. He'll be a millionaire by the time he's 21, if not sooner. We're going to be talking about the cryptocurrency, crypto world, the Bitcoins and all that good stuff. I've jumped in the game, and it's been interesting to learn and get firsthand experience and really understand that world. It is a completely different world. And definitely you got to be on your toes. You don't sleep when you're playing in that world. But I'm being very conservative in it. But we'll be bringing the experts on. And last but not least, we're going to be talking about entertainment. As some of you may know, that's my background. I did it for 25 years. I dominated in the industry, doing concerts, clubs, you name it. In the hospitality industry, I definitely dominated in that world for many years. And I thought that it's just like a sport. After you hit a certain peak, you got to retire and move on and do other things and take your skills onto other ventures. And that's what I've done. So I'm very excited that I've done that and moving forward. So I'm excited again to introduce our guest this evening, Assemblymember Kalra, representing District 27. I'm going to give a little bio here, a little quick background on who Kalra is. Assemblymember Kalra was the first elected to California legislature in 2016, representing District 27, which encompasses approximately half of San Jose and includes all of downtown. So I live, work, and play in downtown San Jose, so he covers it. So, I'm going to be a little gentle, but at the same time, I have to throw a little jabs at him to see, hey, what are we doing to make sure that we keep our city spruced up, and with all the great developments that are coming to downtown, what are we doing to keep that energy going? Okay, here we go. So also, not only did it does encompass all of it, he was reelected for his third term in 2020. So obviously, he's doing something right to keeping his position. So congratulations to him. Assemblymember Kalra previously served for the city as a city councilman for the city of San Jose for 8 years. So he did both terms. Congratulations on that. That's a big win-win there. So. And he obviously represented well because he was able to graduate or go to the next level, which was assembly member. And we're going to talk about just, see what's the next step after assembly. Also, prior to that, he was a deputy for public defender in Santa Clara County for 11 years prior to serving as city council. So, maybe we'll tap into that, and see what that was. What is the journey to get to where he is at today, and was this part of his planned journey, or what happened along the way? Anyhow, it is my pleasure to bring Assemblymember Kalra to the stage. How are you?
I'm good. Wow.
Hey, backstage, I hope you can hear the introduction here. All right, good.
I can hear it loud and clear, and you're very kind and a very nice intro, and it's great to see you.
Thank you.
I think when I met you, is when I was working as a public defender. That's how far back we go. I think in downtown, even though I didn't live downtown or represent it, I've always had an affinity towards our growing urban core. And so yes. I know I met you, as you said.
Let's not give the location where we met. We don't want sound bites. I remember where I met you on the streets of downtown San Jose. How about that? And who you were with, and it's okay. It was good times. Plus, I don't want to date ourselves. I don't want to date ourselves. How far back? But anyhow, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know that the previous the guests that I've had on my show, Mayor Sam Liccardo, who you had the honor of working with, and State Senator, former State Senator, now Councilman for the City of Los Angeles, Kevin De Leon. It's very. I got to give it to you. You're the first one that showed up on time, so that's a big plus. But I understand. Yeah. It's one of those crazy worlds where we're trying to fit tight schedules. So thank you very much for taking the time to be here this evening with us, with all of us.
My pleasure. I'm glad to hear you had Kevin, our friend from LA, Kevin, on. He's a great guy. So it's good to see that he's staying connected with those of us here in the Bay Area.
Oh, yeah. It almost felt like I was doing a local Bay Area interview with him because he's so rooted here in the Silicon Valley, here in San Jose. Yeah. And, he has family here and so forth. So it was just the energy was great. We talked about a lot of things that from different perspectives and different levels. Him being now a councilman, where he was this former state senator, and then his journey to where he's at today, and we got to touch on a lot of matters that are happening not just down there or here, but down there, but across the U.S. and actually globally. And we're gonna we're gonna dive right into it. It's how has COVID affected your constituents in District 27?
Yeah, it's been rough, especially in District 27. When you think about Silicon Valley, you think about the Bay Area, the zip codes that have been most heavily hit, and by that I mean the highest rate, the rates of COVID infections, the highest rate of COVID deaths are in District 27. The three of the zip codes in East San Jose. These are the workers. These are Latino workers that have to go to work. They don't get the same worker protections. They don't get the same access to health care and, or access to testing. And so, there's no doubt that we have to do more to protect our community. But, it's like trying to change things on a moving train. This thing hit us, and it's been like being hit by a freight train. And while you're kind of being run over by it, you got to figure out, okay, how do we, try to protect our community? I mean,
Yes.
gratefully, we're finally seeing vaccines, starting to come out, and I'm certainly grateful to some of our representatives like Magdalena Carrasco and Maya Esparza, Cindy Chavez have been really vocal about the fact that, we're not getting the vaccines to the families that need it the most. Some of the families are living 2, 3 families in a house. And you're hearing, and I know you're hearing the stories about this. Kevin may have talked about this. People are skipping the line. People from the wealthier communities are getting in and getting their vaccines, even though they're not as at great of a risk. And that's just not only is that not fair, it's not smart for public health. We want those that are at greatest risk to get the vaccine. That will lead our way out of here. And if you look at the professions being impacted the most, it's the cooks, it's the grocery store workers, it's those that are delivering the food. I mean, these are the folks that are allowing families like mine to be able to stay at home. And unless I have to come here into the Capitol, for assembly session, I'm able to comfortably be at home, do my work, a lot of my meetings through Zoom and phone calls. And we have to give it up to those workers that are allowing us to be able to do that. But it's not good enough just to give, a pat on the back and applause. Let's actually
Right.
protect them.
Right. And I agree. I mean, we're watching a lot of that. The media's covering a lot of that. I don't want to say they're shaming, but they are shaming the people that are bypassing certain rules. I mean, you have the elderly that need the vaccine. That you have others that, and again, it's one of those areas that we want to be very mindful of everybody, and it just let's just be mindful that
Yeah.
there's others that need it, and if we can just wait our turn. At the end of the day, everyone is going to get vaccinated. I mean, our production in this. I mean, just the way that they're forecasting now, and then you can actually see it now by the businesses that are opening up and so forth. And some of the regulations are starting to loosen up a little bit. Let's be mindful and let's take care of those that need to get taken care of first, and our turn will come. I mean, I'm still waiting patiently, and when my turn comes, I'll make sure that I make the time. Meanwhile, I want to stay proactive in keeping my health up and
Yeah.
doing the things that I need to do to keep my immune system strong, so that God forbid that comes and attacks me, then I have at least the fight in me to fight it off. So
Yeah,
that and it
my father got the vaccine. That's what mattered to me. He's older. He's over 75, and he was able to get it. And so, if our elderly get it, we know they're at the greatest risk. But then beyond that, the workers that are actually putting themselves out there, should be next. I haven't gotten my vaccine yet. I'm happy to wait because I'm not. Although I am coming into the assembly building, what have you. We have certain health protocols, safety protocols. We're not interacting with the public as much as a lot of our frontline workers and grocery store
Mhm.
workers. So, I don't need to jump ahead of other folks. And so let's, try to make it as orderly as possible. But you're 100% right, especially since the new administration in Washington, D.C. We have seen laser focus on ramping up vaccine production. We've heard the good news about Johnson and Johnson. It looks like by next week
Yep.
that'll start coming out.
Yep.
And so we are on a good path where I just heard on the radio today, they think we may reach herd immunity before the end of April at the rate that we're going at and quickly getting out the vaccine. So, if we all want to be out and about in the summer, we want our restaurants open, we want to enjoy beautiful downtown San Jose and the Bay Area, everybody stay home, mask up, and get your vaccine when it's your turn. And we're going to be able to reopen as quickly as possible.
Kind of shows you when you put your mind to it and your focus, we're going to get things done. And people are just tired of being tired and tired of being home. And I think that they're ready to just break out and break loose. Interestingly enough, being in the hospitality entertainment industry for all the years that I was in, I've been telling my colleagues, industry folks, listen, prepare now, because when it starts to let loose, and we're looking at June, July, but really when the world is going to break open and really let loose, or what I call the roaring 20s of
Yep.
the 20s now,
Right.
um, it, oh no, it is. This is for me. I've already registered a couple of domains and some names and some
Yeah.
concepts, because
That's
for the
smart.
next from 2022 to 2025, it's going to be like the roaring 20s, and it's going to really explode. Why? Because the human beings that we are, and the perseverance that we have in just and the resilience that we have, not only here in the Bay Area or the Silicon Valley, but across the United States, across the world. People just they just want what they want, and they're going to go after it. But some people, you got to get that focus in, and we got to get ourselves
Yeah.
lined up to
Yeah.
move forward.
No, the light's definitely at the end of the tunnel, and you're 100% right. I'm talking to my friends and my buddies and my family about, okay, where are we traveling? Once we all get vaccinated, we get past this, and not there yet, but we're already letting it start to enter our minds and thinking about our plans, and that by itself helps with your mental health and your emotional health, because
Yeah,
it's been hard on all of us. I mean, especially our
absolutely.
young people. I was just talking to yesterday, had a meeting with some folks that are some counselors. They're high school and college counselors. This is a tough time for our high school students, for our college students. Imagine being a college student. You just started college. Now you have to go back home, and you don't have that socialization. Everybody, thinks about kind of like, in their 20s, and they want to be out with their friends. And it is a lot of emotional and mental strain. I know we make light of it because it is a life or death situation in terms of staying safe, but
Right.
let's not discount what people are going through. Let's not
Absolutely.
discount what our young people are going through. And if
Absolutely.
they want to let loose once they're through this, let them let loose safely, but let them have fun.
Yes.
I got to tell you one thing, and I know we'll probably get to talking about downtown, but one of the great things, because I've always felt in California in general, certainly in San Jose, we've never taken advantage of our 300 plus days of sunshine. We have been far too strict on sidewalk cafes, on rooftop. I,
Yes.
even when I was in the council, even though I didn't represent downtown, I always advocated for, can we let some little more flexibility, close off some streets, let
Yes.
people walk around, let people
Yes.
enjoy themselves. And I'm hoping that that's one silver lining from this, not just here, but in Oakland, San Francisco, around the whole state. We see it
Yes.
here in Sacramento too. Let's
Yes.
keep these sidewalks, full of people and restaurants and tables. Let's keep some of these streets blocked off. We can enter a new age in terms of how we socialize. Because you go to Europe, it's been like that for centuries. They have
Yes.
the piazzas, they have the plazas, and we only have some restricted areas where we have that. Otherwise, our mentality is no, we have to keep our sidewalks clear, and let's make sure we have parking spots. And I'm glad that people now are experiencing the way that it can be, because this is the way
Absolutely.
that you can keep it going that way now
Ab-
too.
Absolutely. And I agree with you 100%. There's two Senate bills that are being presented, and I just read about them. I glanced at them. I actually forwarded them to a couple of my buddies down in Southern California. But they're looking at, one of the Senate bills is talking about allowing the restaurants to still continue to do off-site sales of liquor, which
Mhm.
is, I mean, if anyone is going to recover, we have to give the restaurateurs, the
Yeah,
industry, the tools to be successful. I understand enforcement, and you're always going to have the bad apple that's out there
sure.
that's going to take advantage of those situations. Trust me, being in the nightclub industry, heavily regulated, we're strictly 21 and over, and we had to deal with all the different ways of people coming in, sneaking into our establishments. It's a tough job, and but we did it, and we learned, and for some of us, we learned through our mistakes. The industry, the restaurant industry, is going to have to find a way to survive, because there's been many restaurants that have gotten so far beyond the eight ball on during this time. I mean, going 8 to 10 months without paying rent, and now they're getting caught up. Now as things open up, you have landlords that have also suffered, and now you get hit with $100,000 or $200,000 plus bill for back due rent. That's an automatic shutdown for some businesses. So
Yeah,
in order to be able to negotiate, the businesses have to have the tools in
yeah,
order to be successful, and that's what I hope to see with the Senate bills that are going through, and some of hopefully the local governments, whether it's city council or the county, they also see that they're going to have to become a little bit more lenient and more open-minded. And I love the cafes. I mean, they've done it in our downtown. It's just amazing to see people out on the street versus seeing a bunch of cars driving and everyone indoors when it's so beautiful outside at times. I mean, we
yeah.
have beautiful evenings.
I think this is what happens, and I remember this when I was on the planning commission, but even before, and then on the council, a lot of fear mongering. Oh my God, if we do this, everything's gonna fall apart. There's gonna be crime through the roof. I think the good thing, and I know you've heard that too,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
The good thing is that we've proven the concept. So we've proven that it can work.
Yes.
Especially in areas like downtown, we're encouraging folks to move into downtown. Well,
Yes.
if I'm living at Access or the 88 or one of these new towers that are being built, and I want to, order dinner into my home, and I want a cocktail from the restaurant, that should be not only allowable, it should be encouraged, right? And
Absolutely.
so I think that we've proven a concept here. I have a lot of friends that have restaurants and that are serving wonderful meals, and they now package and seal the drinks, the cocktails, and it's all ready to go. And I think that it's really something that we can learn from this experience. But I think let's not go backwards. Let's not go
Absolutely.
backwards, and let's make sure we move forward. So I support that bill. What's the other Senate bill that you're referring to?
I don't remember, but there is two sentences. It just came out. The SF Gate out of San Francisco announced they were putting two bills that are coming out, two different numbers. I don't have them in front
It
of me,
might be
but
it might be the one that I've supported in the past, done by Senator Scott Wiener, which is allowing cities to open late.
yeah. Well,
Past
that's something that there should be no questions about it. We should allow our restaurants and our bars to be open up late. There's been again fear mongering
Yeah.
where they think that when you stop at a certain time, you're actually pushing out all these people out onto the streets after they've had a couple of drinks instead of letting them sober up.
Yeah.
If there was a version or a way to allow them to settle versus pushing everyone out, then again you would have a different effect, and probably some more positive versus the negative of late night drinking and driving. I mean, it
And
just
I think that they should at least try it in some of the
yeah,
urban cities. The cities always have control, so they can say, okay, we're going to try it in certain neighborhoods. So San Francisco can say, okay, we're going to try it in Soma or in North Beach. Let's just try it in these two neighborhoods, see how it goes. They can look at the data, see if there's
yes,
an increase in crime and what have you. So it's not rocket science. It's just
right,
let's allow it to move forward, and then you can see how it goes. And you can always change it. But I think
absolutely,
that to be stuck, especially traveling around the world, and you
yes,
go to these other cities, whether it's in the East Coast or in Europe, and here we are with these rules. I think that we should allow for ourselves to be more flexible. Again, especially in big cities, but at the end of the day, the city has to approve it. So if a
yeah.
city doesn't want to do it, they don't have to do it.
Well,
So it's
what
not. So
I think there's the mindset is definitely going to be open and changed
yeah,
going through this pandemic, and
yeah,
I think that I hope that the local cities and the counties really listen to the business community as we're rolling out of this pandemic, because there's a lot of things that have happened in the last well, we're going to be a year next month. Actually, March 13th for me technically is when they did this shelter in place, will be the 1 year anniversary of
um,
this pandemic. Um, but a lot of things have spilled out during this time. We had an increase in homelessness. We've had
yeah,
an increase in graffiti, and this has become a real black eye to a lot of these the communities and cities. I mean, it's happened with us here in downtown. I mean, we've seen a real big increase in trash pollution on our local freeways, on our streets, and we've seen a big increase in homeless encampments, and because of the current, at least this is what was shared with me 2 shows ago with Mayor Sam Licardo, was that because of the pandemic and what is in place, we cannot move quick enough to clean these things because of the rules and regulations that are
yeah,
in place. And what has happened now is that it's allowed it to surface so that it's become more visual now.
yeah,
So we're getting to see really the unfortunate side of not only the pandemic, the health pandemic, but we're starting to see what I call a different version of a pandemic, which is the
yeah,
homelessness. And then, of
yeah,
course, then you get the bad apples that decide that they want to go terrorize the city,
yeah.
and graffiti has just become. Uh, I mean, it's just become so visually just it's unappealing to our city. So, what are some of the things that you're doing
Yeah.
to address in our district for that?
So it's and you mentioned Mayor Licardo, and then last week you had Councilmember De Leon in L.A. I mean,
Whew.
is such a tragic story what's happening there. But I think that what they're doing there, and frankly, what we've been doing here and what the mayor and the council have been doing, I think have been good. It's just a matter of being able to scale it up. I've been at some of the openings of some of the tiny homes. The governor came down for one of the openings, and I know that the mayor and council have been working hard with the county trying to get resources to open more and more of them. I think there are now 4, I believe, opened, maybe more in the city of San Jose, and they're wonderful. They're much better than the shelters with one big room where you have 100 people sleeping in there. Everyone gets their own small home, but the thing is that you can't, when it comes to someone who's unhoused, you can't resolve their issues while they're unhoused, right?
Correct.
Whether it's jobs, whether it's healthcare, whether it's substance abuse, whether it's PTSD as a veteran, those issues need to be dealt with in an environment where they're somewhat stable, and it's hard to do that when someone's on the street. Now, the pandemic has offered extreme challenges, but for a couple of reasons. One is due to public health orders. The instructions during a pandemic, during public health orders, and Sam, the mayor may have mentioned this, is that you're not allowed to go in and clear out encampments. Now, that being said, I've always been a supporter of sanctioned encampments as opposed to organic encampments that just pop up, because if it's sanctioned, then you can actually bring some of the hygiene standards, the safety standards. You can actually bring social services, to those that are in need. But the scale is huge. I mean, we have thousands of people, and that really speaks to a larger issue, is that we haven't done enough on the affordable housing front. We've allowed our housing prices, as everyone knows, to become some of the most expensive housing prices in the nation. And we've done that without doing enough on affordable housing, without doing enough on assisting those that are in need, without doing enough on inclusionary housing to make sure the developers that develop include affordable housing. And so, we've kind of created this monster, and we have to do more to fix it,
And I agree, and it's interesting. On my list, I have the unhoused, I had the graffiti, and then affordable housing. And you hit it. It's almost like, are you watching my notes here from above, or what's up? But interestingly enough, I have the privilege right now to be working with some great developers here in our downtown core, and one of the common things that I've heard is that the fees in these cities, in these urban areas, the fees to build, I mean, people think that that these developers have unlimited cash flow to build these high rises. I mean, these high rises in here in the Silicon Valley, it's a 22-story high rise is not $100 million project. You're talking $200-300 million just to get these projects one tower up, and then the fees that come on top of it. So I think that there has to be a working partnership, which I believe there is, because I know that the city and the counties and all parts of California and throughout are learning what works so that it becomes a win-win situation. Yeah. Because state of California, no matter where you go, I mean, now you can be on the west side or you can be on the east side. Yeah. I'm seeing homes in the east side go for $1 million, and homes that are going on the west side, in the $1.5 million plus.
Yeah.
And you start to wonder why. It's the rule of supply and demand. Us being businessmen on our side, when we're looking at things, it's numbers. It's just supply and demand. And if there's so much demand, we're in the heart of Silicon Valley. We are the mecca of every major technology company in the world. So we live like in our own bubble.
Well, we tried. I mean, over the last couple of years, one of our biggest issues is that in the big cities, San Jose, San Francisco, Oakland, are trying to build more, but they can't take up all the burden. And you have all these little cities that refuse to build or that resist it. And that's where we've had legislation come down, including the one that Senator Scott Wiener did. I was a co-author, SB 35.
SB 35, Cupertino. That was a big,
That would never, that Valco construction never would have happened unless the state came in. I don't like coming from the city council, I don't like taking local control away. But if you're refusing to be part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. And so I think
you have a mayor that says we're going to build a wall around. It's like, whoa, are you crazy?
I know, right?
Do you? That is the worst soundbite to have. I mean, what the hell are you thinking?
Exactly. And so we have to do both. At the end of the day, developers, if they have fees for affordable housing development, or they can build affordable housing. Now, included in their development. Now,
Yes.
to help facilitate that at the state level, we can help streamline some of that construction, especially around transportation. We're trying to get that through the legislature. We've been having some issues with it. We're trying to get more streamlined construction to reduce the permitting time. Whenever we talk to developers, over the past 12 plus years I've been in elected office, usually the biggest concern they have, more so than the fees, is the amount of time it takes. Yes. Time is money. If it delays a project from 10, 12 months to 2 to 3 years, that's a huge burden. So I always believe that let's fix what we can fix, as long as we're still making sure we're doing the proper environmental checks and reviews, and we're doing everything by the book. The book doesn't have to be a 1,000-page novel. We can make it faster and more efficient. And so that's where I think there's win-win opportunities, where we're not letting go of the responsibility to build affordable housing, but at the same time, we're not saying, okay, build affordable housing, and at the same time, we're going to put 10 layers of bureaucracy as you build. I think there is a happy medium there.
Yeah, and I agree, and then it then you turn the developer into a developer / politician, because then he has to go play politics and do all of this other stuff. I felt it being a business owner in downtown. I'm like, wait, I'm no longer a business owner. I'm now part-time politician. I have to go lobby for all of our venues to come together, and then it definitely became another job for us. So I think, and I'm hoping that now we really have seen the problem, because now we can visually see on the streets, and we can visually feel it. We can feel that energy. I'm hoping now that the mindset changes, and we need to continue to have leadership from people like you, Ash. I mean, you've always stayed even killed, man. And I appreciate that. Seeing you from the planning commission to the council position, to now where you elevated to assembly. I mean, that's it's because you've been consistent, and consistency is always going to be successful in the long run. It's better to go slow and steady, and know that you're going for the long haul, versus the person that comes in and tries to make all the changes in one term, and then fail miserably, and then create such a disaster. We won't talk big politics here, but we just experienced that, and not only did we've experienced it, but the division that it's created in our country and really around the world, because it just that negative energy just resonated, and it rippled, and it was just a horrible experience. And again, we're not going to go down that road. I want to just again appreciate the fact that you've been consistent, and whatever we can do, whatever our audience can do out there. If there's any organizations that we can participate in and volunteer, I know that the mayor had an organization, SiliconValleyStrong.org, which we're supporting and will continue to support. I know that the council member had some organizations, and obviously we asked him as because if you're aware, he has one of the largest unhoused areas in the West Coast, being Skid Row, and they have to start really thinking quick, because not too far from from Skid Row or that area, there's a bunch of, I mean, we're talking billions and billions of dollars of development and just pouring into that city that now finally is starting to fruition. So whatever we can do to continue to support, and then again, leadership is going to be a big thing. I'm rooting for you, bud. I'm rooting for you.
I really appreciate that, and the one thing that we can all do is just help people get vaccinated. There's still a lot of elderly that haven't. Sometimes they need assistance, going through the phone tree to sign up, or going through online. So let's make sure, because again, at the end of the day, it's not only the right thing to do for their health, it'll get us out of this pandemic sooner, which gets us our businesses open, gets our economy back, gets our schools back open. So that's one thing I encourage everyone. I've been telling folks, volunteer. There's the county and others are asking for volunteers to help sign people up that otherwise are not able to, or don't know how to, or aren't getting the information. Spanish speakers, Vietnamese speakers, whatever you can do, get out there, get your grandparents, get your parents signed up. That's critically important. And I appreciate your kind words in terms of consistency. At the end of the day, no matter what you do, it's so important to stay true to who you are. I think
Yeah.
once you lose who you are, I don't care if you're in business, politics, no matter what you do, once you lose who you are, nothing is worth it. There's no amount of money worth it. There's no title. There's no position that's worth it. Once you lose yourself, you've lost. And I don't care what people say about you. I don't care if people celebrate you. I don't care what kind of position or title you have. I don't care if you have $100 million. If you lose yourself,
Yeah.
that's you've lost everything, and it's staying true to who you are is truly priceless. And I've tried to do that during my time as a
Oh,
public defender, council
of
member now.
of course. I mean, you not everyone is going to believe or agree with your position, but you are the elected official. You're the one that's in the position, and obviously there was enough people that believed in that mindset that that's why you're in the position that you're in. And let's continue to hope that as you continue to elevate, because assembly member is not the final destination. I don't think that it is for you. I think we've seen you, so that goes to our next, and we're gonna wrap it up here soon because I want to be mindful of your time. What is your plan, Ash, and for today and the future, and what does the future hold for you?
I actually, I've always been dedicated to service, public service as a public defender, city council member, assembly member. And so I tell folks this because I mean, whether I have a title next to my name or not, I will be doing some form of public service. So in terms of elected office, I love what I'm doing. I'm in my fifth year. If the voters will have me, I can be here, you know, up until 2028. And
Oh
so,
wow.
yeah, and so
How
it's,
many
it's
how many terms is that?
uh,
Because
six
you're
terms.
it's every 2 years, right?
I know it's such a drag, but
You're like consistently running then. So
yeah,
it's
I
just
know. It's like always
it,
running. But I love the work. I've had 32 bills signed into law. We're
oh
doing big
nice.
things. Yeah, we're doing big things. I did put my name, and it may have been seen in the paper. So, I did at least put my name out there for the attorney general appointment. It's not likely to happen, but I think that kind of position would be amazing. Any opportunity for me to really have an impact on the people's lives, and I think the larger footprint of the position, like I love being a council member, and I love being a public defender, but being a council member, I had an opportunity to touch far more people's lives and deal with the underlying conditions of my clients and their families. Now, as an
Mm,
assembly member, I'm literally writing laws, criminal justice, environmental, public health, immigration, you name it, that are impacting 40 million people. And so it's quite extraordinary. So I love what I'm doing. I have no intention of doing anything else. But if the opportunity presented itself in the next few years for another position that allows me to continue this work, I'll absolutely take a look at that. But right now, there's no specific position where I could tell you, okay, Mauricio, in 2 years, I'm going to run for this, or in 4 years, I'm going to
yeah.
run for that. Because I do have the luxury of time, again, as long as the voters will have me, of continuing my work in the assembly. I'm chairing the Labor and Employment Committee, which has been a great position to have. And so I'm enjoying it, and I'm going to continue to do my work for the people of San Jose and the people of the state of California.
Nice. Well, that's good to know, and again, glad to hear that we're on the same lines here, and at the same time, I know that people out there are not always necessarily going to agree, but at the end of the day, you got to continue to do what you're doing, and I think that if we stay consistent with some of the problems that we're having right now, there is light at the end of the tunnel. The unhoused community we need to find resolution for them. We need to find resolution on how to get back our California that we know, our clean California, our clean highways, our clean streets, our clean walls. Those are definitely some efforts that I would like to see and like to get involved in because California, the California that I know growing up was a beautiful California, and just to see where it's at right now, it just feels like we need to come together as a community, as a whole, in all of California, and really start to clean up our state because
Yeah,
it's not a representation of who we are, especially when we are again, these are not things that I'm claiming, but this is what I've read. Being the richest city in the country, smartest city I'll take the smartest one anytime. But yet have the largest unhoused population. It doesn't sit well when we have wealth and intelligence, and you
yeah,
still have those things that just give you kind of that black eye. So again, whatever we can do to support,
Yeah.
we're here to support, as a
I'll just,
whole.
I'll just end by
Yeah.
look, we're the fifth largest economy in the world. We should
Yes.
not have this level of poverty. We should not have these issues. But it comes down to where our budgets are immoral. The budget is a moral document, and it's always a struggle to get more resources. And that, yeah, obviously that plays into taxation. It plays into so many revenue streams. But at the end of the day, it's not just how much we take in taxes; it's where it's going.
Right.
And so we have to make decisions constantly as to how we're going to uplift our community. We are in a budget surplus right now, a massive budget surplus, and that's how we just passed the bills to bring $9 billion to our small businesses for small business relief, to individuals and individual families for individual family relief. A lot of other states, they're in deficit. They were in deficit coming into this year, in this past year. We have surpluses because something is going right in California. The
Right.
question is, are we going to make the right decisions to deal with issues like our unhoused community and affordable housing or education, college tuition? And that's something that we need. We need to make those decisions based upon not just what's right today, but what's right looking out 5-10 years from now. Do we want a California that's going to be the best state in the nation 10-15 years out? And we have to put our money where our mouth is in that regard.
I agree 100%. And one of the things that I've learned from my mentors, and I've had many great mentors in my life, I'm blessed with that. One of my mentors said, Mauricio, it's not how much you make, it's how much you spend.
Mm.
And I had to take a minute to resonate. I'm like, yeah, you can't make 20,000 or a million and spend 2 million. Then you're in a deficit.
Yeah.
You have to be mindful of every dollar and penny that you spend. And going to your point, it's where it's spent. And if we as a state can come together and as a community can come together, we can help offset and avoid some of those. I'll tell you, and again, I'm really focused on this graffiti thing right now. Why? Because I've seen how it demeans the community in our cities. The budget, what I've heard, the last budget that was spent on just cleaning up graffiti in Southern California was like some $9 to $10 million a year in just
Yeah.
spending just to clean it up.
Yeah.
Imagine if we and I think that the number is a lot higher. I might be misquoting myself here, but imagine if we spent that on school, on education, or on other things that were constructive versus cleaning. Now, that's not the city's fault but they have to pay it in order to clean it, because if
Yeah.
not, then the constituents will raise hell, and then you have that problem. But again, it's just, if we can create and change that mindset and educate, then maybe the people that are out there terrorizing our cities and doing the things that they're doing that they shouldn't be doing, then our dollars can be spent other ways. So I can't even imagine how tough that job is. I know from a business, it's very cutthroat. Is it profitable? Yes or no? Yes, keep it. If it's no, cut. And when you cut, you're cutting, and it might have a ripple effect and hurt others. But in business, it's very cutthroat. When in your world, or in when you have to make those tough decisions, it has a lot of ripple
Yeah.
effects and also backlash. But congratulations for choosing what you
Yeah.
do. And hey, again, we're supporters here, and whatever we can do to continue to support your success as an assembly member and representative of our district, we're here to support. So thank you very much. Thank you again for
Yeah.
taking time out of your busy
Awesome.
schedule. We can go on and on.
Yeah.
Ash, and again, I just
We'll,
appreciate
we'll
you
do that.
taking the
We'll do
time.
that. We'll do that on our own time downtown. How about
So,
that?
yeah, when the world opens up, we'll definitely have to go
Right.
do a walk and talk about all the beautiful things that are coming to our downtown. And
Yeah.
thank you to everyone that's working together and making it happen. So,
And Mauricio,
and
congratulations. Good luck on your show, second season. I
thank
only wish
you.
you the best, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You have a good evening, and make sure that you guys stay safe, and that be a good example, mask up,
Yeah.
and that your family and your father. I'm glad to hear that your father is doing well, and
Thank you.
I hope that the rest of your family as well as well.
All right, brother.
Thank you,
Take care.
Assembly Member. All right, you have a great evening.
You too. Bye.
All right, thank you very much, Assembly Member Kalra tonight. Mauricio Mejia live. season number 2, episode number 4. Wow, what an amazing conversation. And it's great to be able to have those types of conversations and be able to flow with the good energy and be able to talk about certain subjects matters that might not be so comfortable to talk about, but we have to address them because it's just the way it is. Again, uh, just a lot of great things are going to be coming up our way for the show, and just again very excited, and I'm looking forward to continuing our season 2. Next week, I'm excited to be bringing on a very influential person in the real estate market. Very good friend of mine. We've been friends 20 plus years, probably, if not more. And I'm looking forward to having him on the show and talking about his successes here in the Silicon Valley, but not only being recognized here in the Silicon Valley, but across the nation. So make sure to tune in next Wednesday, 6 p.m. on the West Coast, 9 p.m. on the East. We're going to be having Joe Velasco, a good friend of mine, top dog in the real estate world here in the Silicon Valley, who's going to be our guest. So next week, 6 p.m., Joe Velasco will be joining us, and I'm looking forward to having everyone jumping on board and asking some good questions on real estate development. I love real estate, and that's in real estate development, and I just love all the different variations of real estate. So I want to thank everyone that joined us tonight. Thank you for the comments. I'm having a little trouble on the back, and I can see the comments, but I can't respond to them. So I'm going to go after the show. I'm going to go and individually respond to everyone. So thank you for the comments. I am watching them, but I can't respond, and I wasn't, since we're live here, I don't want to spend time focused on that. So last but not least, I want to do a big shout out to all the frontline workers, to our healthcare workers that are out there continuing to fight this pandemic. I want to say special thank you and really an acknowledgement to all the small business owners who recently just opened up their doors and are going through the struggle. The struggle is real. So I'm asking all of you that are out there, make sure to join and visit any of your local restaurants, local businesses, support them. They need your help. They're the real ones. They're the real small business people that continue to keep this massive economic engine going. So make sure to support those that are out there. Want to send a shout out to my entire team as well, the CalX team. That's California Labor Exchange. Thank you very much. We are, I don't want to call it the first responders, but we come in and we support after these big, massive fires and massive water destructions or any kind of damage or extreme thing that happens in the state of California. We're there to support the contractors that are in there. On top of that, we're out there doing the COVID-19 cleanups, the disinfectation of businesses and buildings that have these potential viral outbreaks. So thank you to my team that's out there, Ruben Guerrero, Christina, Jessica, and everyone out there, the entire team out there. Thank you very much. Be careful, everyone. Make sure to mask up. Make sure to keep your social distance. Don't be a jerk. Be cool about it. Let's just get through this so that we can reopen our world and enjoy it as we move forward. Again, don't forget next week we have Joe Velasco in the house. It's Mauricio Mejia Live, Season 2, Episode number 4.